Hello, welcome to my NEA testing video. I will be testing my project which I have done, which is a film recommendation system. I have now just loaded up my website and I will be testing all the routes which the user can access before they log in. So here is a homepage button which will redirect the user to the homepage. This is a homepage button which will redirect the user to the search for film page, but as the user is not logged in, they are not able to access it. This is a register route which will be a form which the user can register. There's a button here which will redirect the user to the login screen, and on the login page, which here, the login page button works. If I click need an account, it will redirect the user back to the register page. I can then click the back button and click on forgot password if the user wishes to enter their email address to get their password. Here I will be able to test a modal. On any page I can test this modal, which will bring up the news for the website. I can use this button to close it, or this button as well to close it. I will now create an account for the user so that they're able to use my website. Here I will now register the user onto the website, but first I need to test that when I click the register button, it will prompt the user to enter information into the fields. Here you can see that it's telling the user to enter something into the field. So I'm now going to enter information into all of the fields except one of them to see if it still prompts the user. Be redirected to the login page where it will say an account has been created, and I will, by Google Chrome, be suggested to save the password, and I will do so. Now my information has already been imported into the login, so I can just click login onto the account. But first I will check my email. I have got an email which says my account has been created. Account has been created for my username. Now that the account has been created, I will attempt to create another account with the same username. I will go back to the register page and enter in the information. Email, which has told me that I have requested my password for my account, and this is my password, so I can use this to log in. Now that I have got my password, I am able to log back into the system. I will now go onto the login page and type in my username, but before I do this, I will show you that if there was no information entered, then it will tell the user to enter information. I will click the login, and it will tell me to enter information into this field. I will now enter a username and a password which is not in the system. The page will refresh and tell the user that the login is unsuccessful and that the username is wrong. Even so, the username and the password are both wrong. The username was the first thing which was wrong, so the user is told that that was wrong. I have now successfully logged onto my account and have been redirected to the search for film page, as the search for film page I tried to access earlier by clicking on the image on the home page. Now that I am successfully logged onto the website, I'm going to test all the routes and pages. I'm going to first go to the home page and going to click on the image which will send me to the search for film page. This works. I'm now going to test the modal buttons which will display a menu for the user. The language modal works, and I'm able to close it with the close button at the bottom. I'm also able to close it with the cross at the top. The genre button works, and the same thing applies to it with me being able to close it with the cross, and the same for the years modal. I'm able to access this page through the drop down menu, and the page will reload here, and the modals still work. I'm able to access the leaderboards page, and the filters which you've seen on the search for films page are here, and they look exactly the same as what we saw before. I'm now going to show you the highest revenue leaderboard, and it will load all the films which have the largest revenue in the system. These are all of the films with the largest revenue, and the button works. I'm now going to go back to the leaderboards page and show you the biggest budget films. The biggest budget films have been loaded on here. I will go back to the leaderboards page and show you the most lucrative, and I will go to the funniest rated films. These are the films with the best comedy rating. And there are also no films here, as the user still has not rated any films. No user has rated any films, so none will apply because the database is empty. I will go back to the drop down menu and go to the actors route. Here you can see that I'm able to enter a query for the actors on this page. And the same principle applies for the directors, and this page works. And now I am going to go to the favourites page and show that you're redirected to the home page, as there are currently no favorited films. I am now going to test the recommendation route, and as the user currently has no information and no recommendations, this image will appear telling them that there is no information available. I will now click the new recommendation button, and this will run my recommendation algorithm. The recommendation can't be created as there are not enough films currently rated and favorited. The user is redirected to the home page and displayed this message. I am now going to test the news modal, and this is the same modal which was displayed before the user was logged onto the website. For films. So through the drop down menu, I'm going to access the search for films page. I am going to enter a query, which I'm going to spell incorrectly to show my spell checker working. I'm now going to press submit, and the algorithm will give me suggestions to what I meant instead of my incorrect spelling. I did mean Fast and Furious instead of what I put here, so I will click on this. Once I click on this, films will appear for the query which I meant. As you can see, all the films which I wanted to find have appeared on this page. Now that there are 10 films which have appeared on this page, I am going to reorder them by the attribute of release date. I will do it so that the newest film is at the top, which is the highest to lowest, so the arrow which is pointing down. I've clicked the option, and now I'm going to click the order button. As you can see, the films have been reordered on the page, and the page has been reloaded, with the release date of 2019, 2017, 2015, 2013, and they are in descending order, with the oldest film at the bottom. I'm now going to look at the features for this film, the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. So I'm going to test the favourite button. I'm able to favourite the film, and it now gives me the option to unfavourite it. I can now unfavourite the film, and the film is not favoured anymore. I can use a description of the film by clicking the description button, and the description button will disappear with the description appearing. If I click the rate film button, a menu will appear with me being able to rate the film. I'm to the rate film again. That option telling me that the rating has been added has disappeared and that I can rate it again. So I'm going to put in the same rating as before, but now I have realised that the film was pretty funny, so I'm going to put it as a rating of 7 for the comedy and put the rest back as 10. I'm now going to click the rate button, and it's told me that the rating has been updated as it's already been rated before, so the rating is not added again, it is just updated. I'm now going to close this modal and go to the directors modal to view all the directors. This film only has one director, so I'm going to look at this information for this single director. I can see the information about this director, but there is not that much known information about him, so I'm going to look at the films which he has directed. These are the films which this director has directed in my database. There are currently 4 films, and this is a film which we were just looking at. I can click on the actors modal to view all the actors in this film. I'm going to click on this actor to view more information about them. I can see the information about this specific actor, and I can see the films which they have acted in. The films which they have acted in will load onto this page, and as you can see they have been in the Fast and Furious films, and all of these. Back to the drop down menu again, and enter in the Fast and Furious query again, and set the lower bound bigger than the upper bound, as this will swap them and find films between the inverse of the range which was set. So if I set the lower bound to 2015 and the upper bound to 2013, the lower bound will turn into 2013 and the upper bound will turn into 2015, and these will still be inclusive. And the films are displayed, and you can see this is 2015 and it's inclusive, 2013 inclusive again, 2015, 2015, 2013, 2013, and 2014, because it's between those dates. And then I'm going to go back to the search for films page and type in Fast and Furious again, but this time I'm going to filter the language. So I'm going to find the language of Russian and select that option. Then I'm going to search for it, and this will find all the films which have the language of Russian in them. Here the language is Russian, here the language is Russian, and there are no more films with the language of Russian which are related to the search query. Then I'm going to go back to the search for films menu again, type in the query Fast and Furious again, and this time I'm going to filter the genres. I'm going to filter the genres to action and thriller. And then I'm going to search for the page, and this will find all the films which have either action or thriller. It does not have to be both, it can be either or. So all of these are action, thriller, they have both, but it doesn't need to be both. As you can see, one of them, all of these have action and thriller, but it will find ones with just action or thriller. We'll try and find one now. As you can see, this film only has the genre of action. It does not have the genre of thriller. Same with this one, and same with this one. So the SQL injection which I'm going to use is this. This will try and delete all of the films from the films table where the ID is less than 9 sets of 9. All of the film IDs will be less than this value, as there are only 260,000 films in the database. So I will now click submit. It will redirect the user to the home page, telling them that they are unable to use this query as it contains unauthorized symbols. This prevents the user from trying to insert SQL injections into my database and delete data or add unauthorized pieces of information. This piece of code is used on all parts where the user can interact and search for an element or insert an element into the database. I will now search for an actor and see the information which will appear about them. I have now searched for an actor, and you can see the person who I was trying to find appeared at the top. Click submit. Here are all of the same directors as before, and I will click on the next page. As you can see, the problem has been solved, and I'm able to click on the next page now. If I go onto the actors, you can see that the page also works on here, as both pages are run from the same code. So I will search for this person again, and click submit. You can see him at the top, and I will click next page here, and you can go to the next page. I will now go to the account settings page, and I will click submit, and you can see that the user is prompted to enter information. So I will enter information into each of these fields and show that the validation works here as well. I have now clicked change password, and the user is redirected to the home page saying that the password has been changed successfully. An email should be sent to the user, and I will now check my emails. Here you can see that I have an email which has been sent saying that your password has been changed for the account Kian123. I will now show you that if the user logs out, they are able to log back in with a new password. Okay? And then the user is now told that they have logged out successfully. I will go to the login screen and type in my username and my new password, which is significantly longer than my old one. And I'll click login, and it welcomes the user to the home page. Since I did not enter another page to be redirected to before, we'll redirect the user to the home page, telling them welcome. I will now go to my favourites list to show you that it is empty still, and there are no films currently favorited, and the list is still empty. And I am now going to go through some films and favourite and rate them to create a recommendation for the user. Now that I have favorited and rated all those films, I can go to my favorites page and view all of my films which I have favorited. The films which I have rated will not appear here, but if I have favorited and rated them, it will tell me by telling me that this film has been currently rated, or that the recommendation has been liked or disliked. I can go down this page to another film which I have rated and favorited, and since I have more than 10 films favorited, it will have another page and another film which I have favorited and rated here. I also rated this one as well. I can then go to my recommendations, and I can click new recommendations, since I now have enough films favorited and rated to create one. I will click new recommendations, and it will tell me to please wait a bit because it takes a long time to create them, well, about 5 seconds to create, and it tells me your recommendations has been created. So I can now go back to my recommendation page, and my recommendations will appear. This is great. This is a perfect recommendation right here. So since this is a perfect recommendation, I will click the good recommendation button, another good recommendation because I did like one of the Star Wars films. So I will click it's a good recommendation, and you know what? I kind of want to watch this later, so I'm gonna click favorite to this. And this is also another good recommendation. I will also be able to rate it if I click the rate button here. I will now go onto a mobile device and show that my website also works on there. Now I'm on a mobile device which is on a different network to what my website is hosted on. I will now try and log into the website on my mobile device. Go to the login screen and type in my username. And I will press login. I will be logged into the website now, and it will say welcome on the home page. I'm now going to go to my favorites page to see if all my favorites are the same to what's on my computer. So on my favorites page, all of the films look the same so far. These films are the same. Same films on here. Same films. And go on to the second page. These are the same films. Nice. Same films. So I will go to the recommendation page, because when I log back into the website, my recommendations will re-update. So my recommendations on this page will now be different. If I go to my recommendation page, you can see a different recommendation here than before. I should have 10, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And all of these are brand new recommendations on this page, and we're not seeing for there to be some in these lists. So first I will check the top rated page, and here appears films which I've rated. As I'm the only user which has rated films, the ones which I've rated highly will appear here. So these are the films which I've rated highly. These seem correct. Yep, for the overall rating, these are all the ones which I rated highly. None of the ones which I said were mediocre or bad are on here. That seems correct. I will now check the funniest leaderboards. And here, this film I rated high in the comedy section. I'm going to log on to another account to show that the two users are able to use a website at the same time. So I'm going to open another window and put this one to the side, and bring this one over here. This is done on incognito mode so that the cookies are separated. So I will go to the localhost homepage, and I will go to the login screen, and I will log in to the other account which I created earlier on. I am now logged onto 2 accounts at the same time on the website, and I'm on the homepage for both of them. I am now going to check that the favourite films list is empty on here for this user, and it is. There are no favorited films for this user, and that the recommendation page is also empty. Recommendation page is empty. I'm now going to go to the leaderboards to check that they are the same and that it is collaborative for all users. So I will go to the leaderboards page, and I will check for the funniest option for the comedy. As you can see, these are all the films which were rated in the comedy section on the other account. And these are correct and they are in the exact same order. I'm now going to try and search for a film on both of the accounts. I will first go to the home page and click on the search for film image. It will redirect both users here. On the first account, I will type in Forever After, as I want to find Shrek Forever After the film, and on here I want to find Hop, the Easter movie for the bunny. So I will hit submit on the first account and submit on the second account. As you can see, both pages have loaded and Shrek Forever After has appeared, and the second film down is Hop for the film which I'm looking for on the second account. I will favourite both of these films on both accounts, and I'm going to go onto the third page option for both accounts and click both buttons at the same time to make sure that there is no interference with them.